and welcome to Light for Life. If you are returning to our channel, thank you. We value and appreciate you. Our aim is to shine a bright light on your inner splendor and assist to connect you to your magnificence via what we intend to be enlightened sharing, potentially educational, and hopefully entertaining information, as well as encouragement for new perspectives. If you are new here, you are most welcome. We do hope that you will find our content highly beneficial and enjoyable. I am Liss. I'm a science of mind practitioner and a teacher of various healing modalities applicable to all aspects of the self and this life.
And I am Lori. I am a holistic wellness researcher and educator. Welcome to Connections with Liss and Lori. We use the space to offer our perspective regarding multiple different topics that we certainly hope you find inspiring. Today, we are talking about breath. Not bad breath, good breath. One of the first modalities that I ever used when I was first starting to explore how to heal my body, how to heal my past experiences, how to heal my life, was something called breath work. And in my first session with breath work, I realized really quickly that I didn't really know how to breathe. For many years, trauma actually clamped down on my physical body so hard that I wasn't even really breathing. And I think this is very common for most people in general. Even if you haven't experienced trauma, we kind of breathe very shallow in general. Most people don't really breathe all the way into the lungs, let alone all the way into our bodies, all the way down to the core of our bodies. And what's beautiful about a breathwork session is that it'll show you really quickly what oxygen can do when you are fully oxygenated, when you are really breathing deeply with a lot of intent, and how wonderfully healing breath work can be to not just overcome trauma, but to completely change your pH. It was interesting how we tested our breath, or excuse me, how we tested our saliva before the breathwork session and after the breathwork session, and it was completely different. It was quite fascinating. But even without a breathwork session, this is something you can easily do at home for free to really start to observe your breath. Really start to observe where in your body you're breathing. Most people breathe to about the middle of the chest, and that's tip of the iceberg, right? Some people do breathe all the way through the diaphragm, but what I try to encourage people to do is breathe all the way into their feet. And that changes everything in a way. It can instantly calm the body. It can instantly start to reduce blood pressure, reduce cortisol, reduce the stress that we can be feeling in the moment. Anxiety can be completely dissipated in just a few breaths. So breath in and of itself is equally important maybe to water. And if you didn't catch our episode regarding water, take a peek at that one. But for now, let's focus on the breath. What say you, my love?
The first thing that I would like to just say is a little word of caution and a slight disclaimer. There are a lot of modalities out there claiming to be breathwork that are actually pretty dangerous.
Okay.
So please find yourself somebody who is genuinely qualified to be telling you how to breathe. And if you find someone that you think is a qualified professional and has some great system, before you start practicing that, please do an equal amount of research into all the things that tell you why that's not a good idea. Because there are some really, really dangerous modalities out there and people have lost their lives. So I need to put that out there. Please be very careful about who and what you follow. But for starters, something like simply consciously connecting to your breath is going to help you to consciously connect to yourself, to your own authenticity, to who you truly are. That connection is held in the breath.
Yeah.
So it can be as simple as taking a few long, slow, deep breaths. 5 repeats. In through the nose, hold it gently, out through the mouth. Just 5 times. Relaxes and resets the whole system. But then we can start getting creative. There is one type of breathing that is fantastic for anxiety, and that is something that very few people know about, which is nostril breathing. Nostril breathing is literally as simply as it sounds. You just block one nostril and breathe through the other one. Exclusively in through this nostril, out through this nostril, in through this nostril, out through this nostril. Repeat 5 or 10 times and then switch. It's a miracle pill without taking the pill for anxiety. It literally switches off the cortisol production, helps your heart rate to slow down, and your whole body just relaxes. It's amazing. When you're really, really emotionally worked up and really, really upset, one thing that is so effective is what I call the toddler breath. So for a minute, just imagine a tantruming 2-year-old who is legitimately earth-shatteringly devastated about the candy floss that just fell on the floor. Imagine that tantrum state where this child is crying with every ounce of their being. And then as you start to calm that child down, they all do the same thing universally, no matter which country or culture you come from. They all go,
Yes.
because it works.
Yes.
The toddler breath resets our emotional state. So whether you're feeling depressed or you're feeling sad or you're feeling lethargic, it doesn't have to be the toddler tantrum level of things. Choosing deliberately to breathe like that, 2 or 3 short, sharp in, and then long, slow out, will reset that emotional state. And I could go on, but what do you think about those so far, Laurie?
Well, those are actually new to me, but I love
Oh, wow.
them. And, especially with the toddler state, that's just something they inherently know how to do. Their bodies just inherently know that reset. Where that gets
Yes.
lost along the way, I'm not really sure, but I love that. And the one that I actually find a lot of benefit from is something I just call the 478. I think, oh, which doctor is it? Maybe Dr. Andrew Weil is the one that I found this on, but you simply breathe in through the nose to the count of 4, hold to the count of 7, and breathe out to the count of 8. And I think the recommendation is to do this 3 or 4 cycles. I only need 2, and boom, I can feel my body already start to calm itself. I can feel my whole being already start to calm just with 2 cycles of that 478. And sometimes even if I've had a really busy day or I'm doing a lot of mental activity and I try to lay down at night and my mind just won't, turn itself off, I'll just do that 478 cycle and I am out. Just relaxes me like nothing I've ever experienced before. And super simple to relax the whole body with breath. It's such a beautiful, simple solution to some of our
And yeah,
most
for
intense
a
moments.
lot of people, especially those who, like you were referring to earlier, only breathe to here and are not very practiced at being really good deep breathers, 478 is actually a real challenge. Being
Yeah.
able to hold the breath for 7 seconds can be too long. So if that's the case, there is another one that is also incredibly relaxing and that helps you to fall asleep, and that's to breathe into the count of 3, hold for the count of 3, but then breathe out really slowly to the count of 5.
Mhm.
So the 3-3-5 can be easier for people who are not accustomed
Yeah.
to breathing deeply. And then another thing that can be done, which you alluded to with the breathing to the feet, is to actually use our consciousness to direct the breath where we want it to go.
Yeah.
So in our mind's eye, something that's one of my favorite things to do, when I breathe in, I use my consciousness to direct the breath to my heart.
Yeah.
And then I imagine it circulating as a figure of 8 through all 4 chambers of my heart. And then using my consciousness again, I take it up the back channel to my mind, and then I allow it to circulate between the hemispheres of my brain in an infinity symbol. And then I breathe that out. And so I'm energizing my heart, and I'm connecting my heart and my mind together. And it brings an incredible state of peace. And it's so easy to do, just using the imagination.
I love that. I'm going to use that as soon as I can. Because
It's
that's,
beautiful.
one of it really is beautiful. And one of the other ways that I've found when I'm having a lot of stress in my life and I can't fall asleep, I do something similar. I work on relaxing my body progressively with my breath. Just breathing normally, not holding the breath or doing anything like that, but breathing normally, starting with my feet. And I talk my feet into being really relaxed. And I talk my knees into being really relaxed. And I talk my hips into being really relaxed. And I talk my abdomen into being really relaxed with my breath. And 9 times out of 10, I don't even get to my waist. I'm out.
Yeah.
But during really stressful times, I have gotten as far as all the way to my head. And a few times I've started over, but it's like I talk myself into my whole body, my whole beingness being relaxed while I'm breathing in relaxation, right?
Mm.
But the
It's
other
so
thing,
effective. It's so effective that the US military actually teaches their soldiers to fall asleep like that.
really,
So that, yes, if they only have an hour or two in the middle of a battlefield to be able to catch some sleep, that they manage to fall asleep really quickly. And they teach their soldiers how to fall asleep like that. It's actually it's a set program that they go through in the military.
I
Yeah.
did not know that.
And we're wasting it. We're swallowing pills to be able to fall asleep when we could just relax our body using the breath.
I know. I know. What about can we use our breath to create? I absolutely positively believe so. And what I'm thinking about when I say that is, when you mentioned pills, my first thought, not just with sleeping medication, but pain medication. There have been times in my life when I've experienced discomfort, particularly like with deep tissue massage that can be rather uncomfortable. Um, uh, the fascia can get really tight and get really adhered, and it can be a little uncomfortable to work through the tissue of the body itself. And my immediate response, kind of like a toddler, is to go right into the breath and breathe right into that discomfort. But what about if we take it a step further? What can we do with breath to create?
Well, first of all, I want to say, in terms of the pain, yes. I mean, what's the first thing they teach a pregnant woman to do when she's in labor? You've got to breathe through it. And there's going to be an effective way to breathe through it that helps you cope with that level of pain. And pain clinics where
Mhm,
people have, pain that can't be helped. So they have to learn how to live with it and how effective the breath can be for that. So
mhm,
yes, the breath is the power that's keeping us here. I love to say that we're being breathed
mm,
because
mm,
most of the time we're not even conscious that we're doing it. It's automatic. We're being breathed. But the moment we decide deliberately to breathe, we brought our consciousness to the unconscious act of breathing. So it's an empowered moment the minute we're deciding to do it consciously. So we can decide to do it consciously for anything. I love to link my money to the breath because, first of all, the in and the out breath is just this natural exchange. As I take, I give back. As I take, I give back. It's beautiful. It's natural. It's generosity itself. And my air is unlimited. No matter how much I breathe, I'm never going to run out. I don't have to worry that if I breathe too much, there won't be air for Laurie. The air is in endless supply, and I am always surrounded by it. I'm held within it. It supports my very life. So for me, one of the most marvelous ways to begin creating using the breath is to understand that my supply, whatever that might be, my provision is as unlimited as the air. And it's as natural for me to receive as it is to breathe in and breathe back out again. And if we would just learn to trust that, like, the air is there and the ground is always under our feet, it's not going anywhere. We are as supported and we are as provided for. And so one of my affirmations is that money is drawn to me with every breath I take.
Mm. Mm.
So if I'm breathing unconsciously, that's a wasted breath. In terms of my creations and my manifestations. But the minute I am conscious and I choose to breathe with my awareness, then it's a moment of creativity for me. But people don't have to use it for money. They can use it for whatever they like. Are you wanting to attract love? Are you wanting more wellness? Whatever it is that you desire, you can link to the breath because it's so readily available. So it's magic.
Well, and I was just going to say that's a really powerful concept because I've never really linked. Everybody's talking about manifestation, right? Everywhere you look, you can see something about manifestation, but I've never associated that with breath. So this is a fascinating concept to me. How not only can we use intent and we can use water, but we can use breath to literally bring in whatever it is that we want. This is utterly fascinating. I love this. And, going back to the ways that we can use it for healing, not just manifesting the things that we want to bring into our life, but using it for our personal bodies to help heal our bodies. What happens when we bring breath right into the cells that might not be very healthy, that we might experience throughout our lives that really could bring a body down? What happens when we bring breath into those unhealthy cells or into our immune system or into our endocrine system? My gosh, my brain is just exploding with all of this. I love this.
Exactly. We can literally decide to consciously breathe in whatever it is that we perceive our body needs, and then consciously choose to breathe out anything that we perceive our body needs to release.
Because breath is also a detox pathway.
Yeah.
It is.
And a healing pathway.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I've taken such a deeper look into the breath than I've ever taken before. And it's, for me personally, it was a profoundly moving experience to start to move through a lot of the trauma that I was not willing to look at or let alone feel or touch. And to be able to breathe, not just through those traumas, but to really exhale those traumas that were locked in my body. What a tremendous gift that was to experience a couple of sessions of breath work, and what a tremendous change
And
it
a
made.
lot of people quite understandably don't want to bring consciousness to those experiences. It's like, do I have to relive it? Do I have to remember it? Do I have to go back into those feelings in order to release it? No,
Nope.
you don't.
Nope.
You don't. You can breathe into it and let it go without having any idea of what it is that you're dealing with. You'll feel it, you'll feel the energy, but really, really briefly, because all it wants to do is leave. So as long as you're giving it permission to do so, that's exactly what it will do, and it'll ride the breath right on out.
Yes. And it can happen really quickly. It's very transformative and can be such a beautiful healing tool that is already ours. We just need to learn how to use it. It's already our breath. We just need to learn to tap into ourselves, like you said at the beginning, tapping into our self and using the tool that is already part of our being to
Yes.
move mountains.
To change whatever we choose to.
Absolutely. Until we meet again, may you be abundantly blessed. Thank you for connecting with Light for Life. If you appreciate reminders, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can receive those notifications. If you would like to work with one of us, you can find our contact information in the About section of this channel.
Yes, thank you for connecting with Light for Life. Please share your insights, your questions, and your comments with us in the comment section below. We value your feedback. And we really hope that we will see you for our next episode. We upload one every Thursday. Until then, bye-bye and be joyful.
Until we connect again, we send you love and light.